Hey, what's up guys? It's been a while. We're going to do a beard grooming video today. Obviously you can see my beard is much shorter than the last time I did a daily maintenance video. So I'm going to show you what I do to maintain this beard. This is my work from home, constant conference call, need to show my collar during work meetings beard. So I don't let it go too long. Right now it is a little bit, it needs a groom, right? Areas of focus today are going to be sideburns. These have kind of grown out, so we're going to fade those down. I'm also going to fade this whole corner here. So basically what I'll do is I'll draw a line from where the beard connects to the mustache area, goes straight across. From that point, I'm going to fade it going into nothing to the top of the sideburn. I'm also going to fade a little bit of this area, right? So we'll trim this and we'll fade a little bit, so that way it kind of has this directional shape to the beard where it's fading into the jaw and chin area. I'm also going to draw or trim a line straight down from the sideburn, getting rid of all that extra stuff. So during this process, I'm also going to do a little bit of a shave where I'm going to use a razor to get the cheek area and the stubble that's growing there, as well as anything under the neck. Get rid of that neck beard, right? The very first thing that we need to do before we get into any of this is wash and clean the beard. When we're doing this, it's important that there's no butter, there's no wax, there's no balm in your beard, right? Because that is all styling and it's going to add weight to your beard. You want to trim your beard at its natural length as it sits naturally. I also need to make sure to give it enough time that once I scrub my face and beard with my beard wash, that I let it dry out before I do the trim, right? Wet hair is going to pull down more. I want to trim my beard where the hairs naturally rest, not where it's being weighted down or shaped into a non-natural motion, right? That way when I'm applying my wax, my butter, my balm, it is touching up from where my start point is. I want that start point to be at the best spot possible. So we're going to take a shower first. I'm going to apply a beard wash, and we'll give it about 30 minutes between the shower and until I come back to actually do the grooming. My current scrub is Ardius Man Citrus Spice. I'm really into the citrus spice scent. I tried this many years back and just fell in love with it. It's been a continual rotational. I do like to experiment and try new brands. But right now I'm hooked on the citrus spice. So I'm trying the Ardius Man Citrus Spice beard wash for the first time. And yeah, we'll give this a go. Switch over to a standard facial hair trimmer, this size. And I'll also note that I have a little brush that came with this. So as I go, I'm just going to be brushing this clean, right? Every time I switch clippers or size, I'm going to just brush that really quick. And again, I have my trash can sitting right in front of me, so as I trim, I'm trimming into the trash can. That way there's very minimal cleanup afterwards. Before I get into the beard, gentlemen, please trim your eyebrows. The difference in this trimmer, right, you'll see in the size, the teeth, right? The teeth are not as wide. It is designed for your eyebrows. It makes it really easy to just get a quick eyebrow groom. So I'm just going to attach this on and go from out to in. And the other side. That's it. Not going to do too much. If you want to get into it, I use my mustache comb a lot. I'll comb my eyebrows upward and see if there's anything that looks funky, that looks weird, and then I can just go back. Next step is I have my trimming guards sequenced out on my countertop in order of 7 millimeters down to 1 millimeter. I'm probably not going to use this until I get to sideburns. So what I'm going to do first is start with my 7. So here's my 7 millimeter guard. And I want to work from this line right where there's kind of no facial hair between the mustache and the beard, and I'm going to go straight across. I'm not trying to buzz this down and chop this off. I'm just going to be very gentle, right? So all I'm going to do here is sort of just kind of tap that down a little bit. That's it. As I do this process, there is going to be some hair that doesn't fall out, so you might need to grab and pull that hair out and place that into the trash can. So I'll do this on this side. All right, so I've got that. Next, I'm going to keep that same tip on, but go in the opposite direction, but I'm going to move up, right? So I just did from right here across. I'm going to move up about half an inch and just take that straight off. So you can tell that's a lot. I've been really overdue on this trim. Do the same on this side. Okay. Now I'm going to work my way down. Depending on your hair will kind of guide what you do. So I'm going to move actually from 7 to I want the 3. So 7 to 3 millimeter. And then I will start about bottom of the sideburn, right? So we went here, then we went there, then we went there, and I'll just slowly work my way up and lower the trimming guards. Then there, that was my 3. I'll go to my 1. Again, cleaning this off in between. And for the 1, I'm just going to look kind of at the middle of the ear right there and work up. All right, then I got that off, and I'm going to go with no guard, just the tippy top. Not a lot, just the top. Just kind of blending that in with the shave line. And when I shave my head, I can kind of fine-tune that out. Now, if you're not bald and bearded like I am, and you do have great hair, just go ahead and blend this into wherever your hair meets your sideburns, right? Go down to that level. Oftentimes, if you're going to go to the barber and they cut your hair, you can ask them to kind of trim down to the bottom of your earlobe, and then you can go home and you can take care of earlobe down on your beard once you kind of just connect the lines there. So that's kind of the main goal. I need to trim a lot of this and not very much of this. I want to make sure I cut all of the split ends off of the end here. So my goal is going to be, I'm going to take a cut right here, and I'm going to work my way down to the beard, but I'm going to cut maybe an inch right there, and then slowly make a shorter cut as I go down to the bottom, and then we'll even that out. One thing that's important to note is when I trim, I need to make sure the line that I take as I'm coming into my neckline with the razor, I don't want to do that at a diagonal, right? I don't want to go up, I don't want to go down with it, I want it to go straight in, right? So you've got to find that angle. I'm going to tip my head slightly as I do this, that way this is flat. That way when I tip my head and I'm at level looking ground again, I do kind of have that downward sloped under beard chin angle. That's what we're going for here. So I'll start on the back. Just making my line. And then following that through to the neck. Now keep in mind that I do this all the time, so I'm doing this fairly quick. Highly recommend taking your time. So see on the right, see on the left, you can already see profile getting cleaned up quite a bit there. All right, that's how it looks on the left, that's how it looks on the right. I've got most of my line done, so I'm going to now trim side of the neck right there. Anything that's back on the comb I want to take off. So basically I will just have my trimmers this direction and out. I actually did pull hairs without turning it on. I'm going to go in just gently, a little bit at a time, and lining that up vertically there. All right, so left side, right side. You'll notice I left a little bit more on the chin. This is the area that's trickier for me. I do this last. You'll have to just figure out what you are comfortable with, what your skill level is at, and how to arrange your beard trimming. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the right side now. This is gonna be off camera. I apologize, I have a hard time looking at camera on that side and trimming. So I'm gonna use my mirror for this and try and go across. So there's where the cut is here, going across. My cut is going to be right there. It's important to note not making big facial expressions as you cut. Watch as I change the height of my beard based on talking, right? So you can see my beard's moving up and down while I talk. If I go like that, it lifts my beard up. Doing that lowers my beard. So I want to make sure I have a straight line while I cut and I'm not making facial expressions as I'm reacting to different cutting, right? I'm going to do the same thing on that back, comb that down, go from ear down, make a nice line behind the jaw. Alright, the jawline is something that grows quick for me. I always got to groom it. So now we're going to do the chin. I'm just going to finish that line that we've started, and then we'll come back and fine tune it, because I don't want to make a mistake on the jaw. You might notice as well, I'm making small short cuts as I go through. As you get more comfortable holding the trimmer, you can do that. Usually I don't just go straight in, right? I'm kind of taking a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm working my way back a little bit at a time. All right, so this is mostly where I want it to be at. I obviously now need to fix the shaping because the corners are a little bit thicker than the jaw. I want that to be profiled more downward. The other last thing we need to do is how much is kind of floofing off my face, right? So we're gonna freehand that. That is definitely a more advanced thing. If you watch a lot of the beard content creators out there, you'll usually see that, or a barber kind of taking their time, freehanding that, going straight down, right? We're looking for the strays. We're not looking to trim anything there. We're just looking for the strays that stick out. You're going to catch a lot in the natural progression, taking your time and going down. So first I'm going to get that profile a little bit better by cutting a little bit more on the jaw and going straight down to the chin. And I've got a little bit under the chin that I need to get. So cut that under the chin, and work on the jaw profile, get that line a little bit higher. What I'm going to do next is work my way across the front and just any of those stragglers that are kind of hanging out. So very close to the beard. I'm not actually pressing this against the beard yet. I'm just looking for anything sticking out. And I am going to grab my comb, give that another comb. And I'll do the other side. The front is the hardest because you can't see the gap between those hairs that are sticking out and space. Obviously, first thing I'm going to do is take off this shirt, get all this hair that's on the countertop, and clean this all up. I do have this little dollar shop dustpan and broom. It's fantastic. It's just a little tiny thing. Found this at a dollar shop years ago. So whatever hairs happen to get in the sink or on the countertop, right? My sink is dry right now, which is going to make it really easy to clean. It's important to remember, don't run the sink before you do a beard trim. I caught most of it in the trash can, but there's always going to be extra. I also have this in front of the gap at the sink, and you can see how much was missed on the trash can. So this makes it a lot easier for me to catch all that hair and keep my counter and my sink clean. Don't want to let any hairs go down that sink. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a scrub. I'll throw in some beard wash as well, just to get all the little hairs out, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I'm fresh out of the shower. I just did a beard rinse and threw in the beard wash and got out all those loose hairs. And it's been about 10 minutes. We've let this dry for a little bit. It's still damp, which is exactly where we want to do our grooming. So my hair has been shoved all around with the towel. First thing I'm going to do is grab my comb. I still prefer a wide tooth comb unless my beard is much shorter than this. So I will just use this press. I'm pressing the tips of the comb against my face and dragging this hair down, and I'm just going to do a quick pass through as well as in the mustache. Alright, I'm doing that before I get all of my balm and stuff in, just because as my beard is drying, it's starting to take shape. So the first thing I want to do is help my beard dry in the best shape possible to what I want it to look like when I'm done. Next up is going to be my beard oil. I've got Ardius Man Citrus Spice. We're going full citrus spice mode with today's video. And I like this Ardius Man oil because it's a lot thicker. So with this beard, I'm just going to use 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. Rub that into the tips of my hand. It's a little bit glossy there. I will start with some in the mustache and with the rest in my beard and against the skin under my beard. Right? Remember to get it in there because your skin is suffering underneath your beard and you want to use that oil to keep your skin moisturized. So go ahead and rub that all in. Again, if you are doing this to your beard and by the time you're done with this rubbing in the oil process, your hands are still oily, you're using too much oil. I would start with your beard at somewhere between 4 and 5 and figure out what works for your beard. Sometimes your beard is drier, sometimes it needs more, sometimes it needs less, so figure out what works for you. But at the end of rubbing that in, if your hands are oily and you feel like you have the need to rinse or wash them, then you're probably using too much oil. I'm immediately going to take my comb now and help process that oil through the hairs and to my skin. So again, pressing against my face as I do so. Notice I'm not coming down my jaw either, right? As soon as I get to the jaw, I'm dropping off that line. I'm letting everything below that jaw line keep its shape. I don't want to start curling it back, otherwise I'm going to look like a goat. curl this down. Okay. I'm then going to take my fine-tooth comb, mustache comb, and start separating my stash because I do want that going left to right-ish, just a little bit. I want that nice pattern. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and let the oil seep in for a little bit. I'm not going to apply the butter or wax right away. I just want the oil to do its thing for a little bit. So we'll be back. Now I've given about 10 minutes for my oil to do its thing. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of butter. I have, again, to complete the cycle, I have the Artist Man Citrus Spice Beard Butter. I gotta be honest, I don't like the size of this jar. I wish it were smaller, more like this size. This is more typical across the industry, and it fits into all of my storage containers in my pocket. I can take it with me, right? So makes it easier for that. I am going to use a guitar pick to scrape up a little dollop. That is about the maximum amount that I want, and I'm just going to apply that to my palm, and right there just rub that together. And I'm going to start with the most problematic areas of my beard, which is going to be right here, and the areas that I want to keep the most tame, which is going to be the bottom half rather than the top. I don't want my top half to sink into my face, so I'm going to try and put most of it on the bottom. Right, this is to weight it down, so just gently touching and grazing across. When I get to that spot, I'm going to go in a little bit more. Again, just kind of getting the bottom. I'm not really pressing into my beard here. I'm just dragging along the hairs. And always pulling into the shape that I want my beard to be when it's done drying. And got a little dollop there. I'm gonna rub that between the fingers and get that in the stash. Alright, for my last step, I'm gonna use a boar's hair brush. I'm not gonna use my comb, I'm gonna use a brush, and I just wanna brush that product into my beard, right? So I'm gonna press more at the top half and a little bit less on the outside, mostly because this is primarily going to help with shaping, with keeping your beard together. If you're going out, you're going to be outside, right? You're in the air and the wind. It's going to keep your beard tight and keeping that shape as you go through whatever elements that you live by. And I'll also brush that little bit that we added into my mustache and go across there. Right now, it's a little bit tight. It'll loosen up just a smidge, right? 5-10% as everything finishes up. But yeah, this is the grooming video.